Hello everyone, and welcome back to the vBrownBag Tech Talks provided out here by HP Discover. Today I actually wanted to talk about a topic that's not only personal to me, but it's also probably personal to many of you or those impacted in your life. It's called Battle in the Workplace Blues. You could call it, getting yourself out of a slump. That was the other word I was going to do, but seeing how this was a professional development one, I wanted to tie the work back into there. So a little bit, I just want to talk about my own personal struggle that I've went through over the last probably, I say year, maybe year and a half or so. Many know that I used to work for HP and then HPE and then Micro Focus and then nothing. And throughout that process, many people have probably been through reorgs. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever there was a reorg, it was kind of like, what's going on? You're kind of like on eggshells. And you didn't really know what was going on. Is your job secure? Is it not secure? And then, that you bring that stress back home to your family. Next thing you know, you're arguing with your wife and so forth. And luckily for me, I have a great wife at home that, she kind of helped me through that. She's like, it's okay, whatever happens, we will get through it together and so forth. But so ultimately, I ended up not working, and I didn't do anything for probably about a good month. I literally just slept late, got up, played video games, and I was just like, all right, this isn't too bad. I'll find a job or do something. And through the interview process, it's like you kind of get kicked down and you're just like, man, I thought I was good enough for this. And then people tell you, no, you're not. You need to do more. And I was kind of struggling with that for a bit. And I was like, man, what am I going to do? So this is how I combated the blues. The first thing that I did was I kind of had to go back to my military roots, and I had to reassess myself over the last year and a half. And in the Army, we have a thing what we call an after-action review, or an AAR. And basically what I did was I said, how am I doing? What's going on? Like, what are causing the stresses for me within the workplace that got me to that point, and so forth. And then I had to also say, was it my wife that's causing that stress? Because my wife, she gives me a big to-do list. A little known thing is I just had probably about 200 and something yards of dirt in my house, like in the yard. That's a lot of dirt if you guys don't realize it. It literally probably went about 60 feet to about 5 to 6 feet tall. And my wife just kept hammering on me, when's the yard gonna get done? When's the yard gonna get done? So that honey to-do list was adding into that way, and I was like, babe, I'll get it, tomorrow. Alistair could probably tell you, I gave him these slides last night at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So it's things like that I had to identify, like what was causing it. Is it, in your situation, it could be you're not getting paid enough or you've overextended yourself. One thing my wife and we constantly do is we evaluate our budget. What money's going out versus what's coming in, and what can we eliminate? Do we need that gym membership? Do we need to pay $10 for Netflix? And so forth. So we're constantly evaluating and identifying potential causes of stress for us. But this is probably my biggest one, and I really feel bad for John Frappier and Sean Tulane. Hopefully I pronounced that right, Sean. I rely heavily on my friends because I'm the type of person that I keep a lot to myself, especially about what's going on in my personal life. Even though I'm very social and outgoing, I kind of keep things in, and I have a very close inner circle, whereas probably only 3 or 4 people that I actually tell, hey, this is what's going on. And I'm probably sure many people can relate to that. Within work, you could be having a problem with a coworker, and you don't want to say anything because you're afraid of your job going away or something happening to you. But for me, I also had trouble communicating with my wife for a while. And it was something that when I would tell her something, she would almost try to come back at me as, like, I would call preaching at me, and I'm like, babe, you're nagging me. No, like, you gotta stop. And then I realized over time that, no, it's just her way of dealing with what I'm telling her. So I had to adapt to how she responded to what I was saying. But one of the things is, mental health is a big issue. There's a lot of suicides in the news. A lot of veterans commit suicide, police officers, teenagers. We've had suicide in our family. And you need to be able to reach out to someone and just be like, hey, I'm having a problem. And just know that they're not going to be like telling the world, that you can feel comfortable. Go to anyone. You'd be like, most people will look for counselors. They'll look for priests if you're a religious person. And I say do it, because if not, you're just going to keep that bottled in, and you never know what's going to happen. The next thing I would say is, no matter what you're doing and how you're feeling, you have to avoid consuming alcohol and drugs to solve your problem. Oh, I'm going to have this glass of wine to forget about my stressful day. Well, what's making your day stressful that you need to resort to alcohol? Because ultimately, the more you get stressed and the more you drink, it's going to cause greater problems down the road. That's right, I'm not for alcoholism. The other thing too, it goes back to bodily harm, is I mean, you hear about kids cutting themselves, right? Because they're having stresses, and I have teenage kids in high school, and I tell you what, the girl drama in high school is crazy. It's my son is perfect as far as the drama factory goes, but the girl drama is insane, and kids, they like to hurt themselves. And don't get to that point. Like, avoid hurting yourself. Reach out to someone and say, here, I'm having a problem, I need help. And this is my mantra right here. Control what you can control. And that's what I focus on now, and that's kind of helped me. I had a conversation probably 4 months ago with Matt Brender, or Broberg, I still call him Brender, and he knew I was down, because I was like, Matt, I need some Matt time. Because he moved away to Portland, and I still live in Massachusetts, and he's one of my inner circle peeps, and I was like, I need you, because I feel myself going away from the way that I don't want to go. And I just talked to him recently, probably about 3 weeks ago, and he's like, Luigi, you sound a lot better. He goes, what's going on? And I talked to him about my situation and stuff, and I said, you know what? I said, my wife keeps telling me, don't stress over the stuff you can't control. Just focus on what you can control. So that's how I started to do it. I basically sidetracked every other project I had, and I focused on my yard. I now have grass growing, and I should have probably put a picture in there. And for me, that was what it was. That's what took me, was that focus to say, I can't worry about, you know, if I get another job. At some point, I'll do something. I'll either get customers or I'll get a job, or my wife's honey to-do list will go down slowly because I'll actually have time to do it. And for me, that's what I did. I just took control of what I did, and I focused on what I actually could make an impact on. And that's it. Thank you.